Yeah, that was the last go around. How you keep that? Even entertaining. Yeah. Come back again. Good. Well, in the audience, hearing it.
Oh, that's the, no, no, hit that. Steve, go ahead. Please. Larry.
Push it.
Please. I didn't know one day. I didn't know one day. I didn't think it. Yeah, and, okay, then. You're kind of.
So busy.
Agenda. And then. Yeah, I want all of this to go. Okay, you get us like this, we're done. I literally just did a spreadsheet.
I think you need to replace this. You've been like this for. We saw you last.
I'm already starting off at a disadvantage. So. No. Yes. I'm gonna look over Mike's shoulder at his plan. Ran out.
It may be.
Ralph's running this, right? Good, Ralph.
You ready? All right, we're gonna get started. We're gonna get started. Welcome to the planning board meeting for September 28th. We have several applications on the agenda for tonight. We'll start out right away with 32 Mill Road LLC. Allegiance. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the Republic, which stands indivisible. What he did.
Now we're going to
Chairman,
please.
If the call or not, I'm Andrew Burrell, counsel to 50 Mill. This is the time I think that we're in front. Thank you. And I think in an effort to expedite this, I'm going to jump to the memorandum dated September 27 from Ms. Bistrian.
Can you speak into the mic, please? Thank you.
Most people would prefer I don't.
We'd love to hear you.
Thank you. In any event, I've reviewed the memorandum and I've winnowed it down to 3 different items.
Didn't we do this last time?
I think we did. I think we're just about there, hopefully. I think we're in the red zone. I've identified 3 open items I think that Ms. Bistrian has highlighted for the board. The first is she would like to have a bubble stating, quote, "The existing door to be removed and replaced with a wall," quote. I have the authority to represent, no problem. We will do so.
And sincerely, I think we can just put a bubble on the existing drawing, right? Isn't that the idea of the bubble? Or, yeah. I mean, it can be a hand drawn on the one you give to Megan as the final.
To that end, and if I may jump ahead, had Erin produce a dated current proposed, in addition, the existing. So one reflects where the door is and where the wall will be replacing the door. And if it pleases the board, we can wet initial it today, have the bubble put on, and that should hopefully suffice. The second one was the dating of it. This is a dated version, so I think we've accomplished that. And lastly, and I think it's a very valid suggestion, if the resolution could include an increase by 1 seat from 15 to 16, we would ask that please be included. And with that, if there are no further questions from me, I'm done.
Sounds good to me.
Anthony?
Would it be possible for the resolution to be put on the record today?
Well, we can't approve it until the health department, there's this issue, but what we can do is send back what the health department is waiting for in order for them to do it. So I think let's wait and hear what everybody else has to say. And then if the board wants to do a mini resolution to authorize the staff to send back that letter, that would be the only resolution up for discussion today. Okay? But I think that's what you're technically what you're looking for. So after the public's had an opportunity to be heard, that would be the resolution.
Thank you very much. I'm available if there are additional questions. Thank you.
Does anybody wish to speak on this application? Okay, so then we're going to have a resolution.
Well, assuming that we're short today with 3 people, as long as all three of you are willing to move it forward in that direction, then the resolution would be to authorize and say, have Britain communicate with the health department, advise them as to the board's position that it's ready to move forward, subject to their.
I think we're all enthusiastic to get this off the agenda.
Okay.
Are we sure there's nobody from the public who needs to speak on this? Okay.
And just to be clear too, it will, as soon as the health department does what it does, assuming we get back a stamp, then it would be put on for a typical conditional resolution, which would have all the bells and whistles that your resolutions have.
So we're merely kicking the can down the street to the health.
Yeah, well, merely a suggestion, not doing anything. You are letting them know that it's ready.
Okay.
It's ready. The plan that you have is at least ready for their decision.
So Megan, do you need a formal resolution or were you able to?
Oh, that's good.
We're good.
We just need a vote.
All in favor?
All right.
Thank you. And if you could just give me further instruction on what you would like on these 2 plans, I'll get them right. Do you want Aaron's initials on them?
You want to change marking calculators for the sake of heck.
My feeling is that since you're going to be coming back here anyway, you're going to the health department and then coming back here, you'll have a couple of weeks to get this right.
Yeah. Okay. Not that I don't like you all.
It was, yeah. I mean, we gotta still approve a final plan. So if you want to make a day or two to get us a clean copy,
But is my understanding it's conditionally approved, correct?
not conditionally approved. It's being approved for purposes of sending it back to the.
For purposes
Health
of getting the
department.
other 2 to.
But once the health department sends back its approval, the board would then be in a position to issue a full conditional approval, which has a whole series of conditions attached to it that we typically have in all our site plan resolutions. So, I don't want you walking out here thinking there's no other conditions. There will be the usual conditions that apply to site plans.
I'm used to rounding up the usual suspects. I think we'll be okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We should probably do a resolution to also hold it over until we get the health department approval. Right?
Wasn't that kind of what
You don't even do that anymore. All right,
Submit 10 days on the agenda.
got it. I think about it.
Okay.
Are we talking about wastewater? When you're saying the health department, we have food approval and wastewater approval all kind of in a circle here. I'm trying to understand.
Well, we have to have the wastewater approval.
So we're gonna write a memo I'm gonna write a memo for wastewater management. Wastewater that says the board, that satisfies their need for village approval. Just leave it at that. I will write that memo. They will then issue your septic approval. That approval will go to the food control unit and they will then issue a food control permit. Those two permits will come back to us along with the bubbled floor plan, the site plan that shows that you've now had one additional restaurant seat, so a change in your parking calculations, you get on our agenda, the board votes, you get a resolution, you go to Brad to get a building permit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. 161 Montauk Highway LLC.
Nicholas Vero, architect, 120 Mill Road, West Hampton Beach, for Marcus Sticci, who is not with us this evening. I don't know where we left off because I wasn't here at the last meeting. However, we did do a revised plan where we shifted our building over. Actually, yes, we shifted the building over 20 feet off the west property line, created our new light access between the wine store and our building. There's some parking there, and I believe we took care of, satisfied most of the last comments that we got from the village engineer. At this point, we have an application into health department with the revised plan, and I'm going to need either a secret or some kind of determination letter from this board, so that they can move that application forward.
I think we're conceptually okay with this plan. There's some tweaking to be done, just the apartments are a little too big. Or excuse me, only one apartment is too big. We made a suggestion about maybe developing their plans to show what kind of tenants you're gonna have in case they wanna have a patio, if there's a food service. But in general, from a planning perspective, I'm comfortable with it, and I don't have a problem.
So I believe we still owe you, we do owe you the lighting plan, which,
I would say, oh, with black detail. Brand starting to see like together.
okay, you, yes, that was
Like
my
that.
project.
You're showing arborvitae's, I forget what the number is, 5 feet on center, and I think it should be shown as, according to the code, as a double row, 10 feet on center, yeah, so they're all.
I'll relay that to the landscape architect, who happens to be the owner.
It's easier putting a straight line on the camera. I had a question as to whether you're gonna put a fence back there, 'cause I didn't see one on the plan, there's fences on those, and it's only, a 10-foot buffer.
I think the intention was to put it back there.
Well, then show it on the plan, show the details of the fence, the typical detail. So, particularly the dumpster. And I'd like to see if the board creates. Still, it seems to have straightened out because we added a basin next to those 4 spaces on the east. But you haven't shown any grades on that. And also, you probably should show some grades from the opposing site where those curves are, make sure
They did.
Make sure where the water's going.
What I didn't do was they were supposed to email me their latest plan, the property to the west, so we can coincide our grades with theirs. I know we have extensive, grades on our property from the survey, so.
I'm talking about the east.
Okay, so the wine store.
I'm lining up with the existing, so the existing curve and that, what's going on, whether that's a high point, low point,
I'll go back and look at my records.
yeah, okay.
So that's all I have. Just asking for that referral or secret.
Make sure you're looking at village codes, tables that you have to show performance with, as far as levels, averages, and that kind of stuff.
What I did based on the last site plan that I did before this board, I sent that code to the guy who does our lighting, so hopefully you get it right this time.
Frankly, I don't think it's possible to get a match 100%, so we just have to make sure it's close enough.
Next time. So
All right, I'll.
push it back on 10 days before.
And by the way, none of those things that Ron's raised should impact whether the secret decision.
No,
Yeah,
we'll
so-
put you on the 10-12 agenda for secret, you don't need to attend.
Perfect,
And
okay.
then whenever you submit, we'll put you on the next agenda.
Coordinating, that's the only thing, unlisted, it's up to the.
Wait,
Department,
it doesn't need zoning though, zoning board.
DPW, already.
I don't think so.
They get exactly what they. Good, thank you.
Thank you. Good plan, Nick. Next up is Sunset West LLC.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
It's been for the, hotel. Just a real, recap what we're about here. This is the property 87 Sunset, what I refer to as the CVS property. The building that's being constructed right now pursuant to a building permit is the building that was approved back in 2016 as phase 2 of that site plan. Subsequent to the approval of that site plan, however, there was a change in the number of tenants from 3 to 1, and the change in the nature of the tenancy to a medical facility. That resulted in a couple of different issues being raised. One, because the single use exceeds the village code limitation, we required a special permit from the trustees. That was granted on September 7th, and I believe I provided a copy of that to the board. In addition, the newly proposed use increased the need for parking in the site by 10 spots in addition to what was already constructed. And that 10 spots was achieved in a couple of different ways. First of all, the phase 3 building on this project, which was a 1,400 or 1,500 square foot building, was eliminated, which reduced the prior required parking by 6 spots. So we're almost there. And in addition, we are proposing to provide 7 additional spots in the site in the location of the phase 3 building, which has now been eliminated. It gets us to 13 spots when we needed 10. However, there is also a requirement of a dumpster location, which is shown on the plan as well on the side of the property opposite Sunset, whichever direction that might be. And that, in order for that to fit in the island that was there already, we are consuming a parking spot for that purpose. So that reduces the total add from 13 to 12, but that's still greater than the fact that is required based on the use. Also, we took a look at the drainage, and I think that that's been deemed sufficient. And we looked at the lighting as well, and we're not really proposing any additional lighting. There's lighting throughout that parking lot right now. On this stretch of parking on this side, where the new spots are proposed, there are 4 lights already. If you look across the parking lot at the other side in the same distance of parking, you will see that there's 4 lights over there as well. So I'm not sure that any additional lighting would be necessary for this.
I guess just what you have to hang on the building.
Right.
Well, does it comply with the new code?
Well, that's the question. Whether we're not changing the lighting that's already been approved for the site. So.
Yeah, but you've been here before, and the new code doesn't necessarily grandfather.
Right, well, I've submitted the schematics for the lighting. I don't know if Ron had a chance to look at it.
We just got a good sheet.
Yeah, most we got was 50 foot light, and,
I'm sorry?
we need the photometric
Okay.
drawings on the whole site.
I think it may have been just some sort of typo, Jim, because one of the plans that was a parking plan was labeled lighting.
Oh, okay.
So it may, you may have it, just double check that.
We did provide the lighting locations and the lighting fixtures themselves, as well as.
Got the light fixture.
All we got was this page and then parking and septic.
Okay, but you
No
need
lighting.
the photometric.
Yeah,
Okay.
or a little lighting plan at all.
You know, I don't think we've seen a real site plan, site plan.
Well, that was my next question, was what is your operative site plan that you're proposing? Because the design works drawing is not, that's not a conforming site plan prepared by signed by a professional. I mean, our code makes clear you gotta have a architect,
I think we had
landscape
talked
architect.
early on about the original site plan approved site,
Yeah.
site plan.
Yeah, but when the original site was an outline of the building, now you're putting in this building, the sidewalks that go with the building, where are they going, what are they lining
I
up?
think that was, this building,
There's a driveway that has to be repaired, taken out, repaired, all of that needs to go on a site plan.
the building that
Parking
is,
spaces too that are replacing the whole pad.
the building that's being built is built in the exact location to the exact same
Yes.
specifications.
But the one that isn't
There was
being
no
built,
sidewalk. There was no, where are the handicap ramps for that building? They weren't necessarily.
What was approved for that building is what they're building. We're just adding some spots and eliminating. I mean, I will do whatever it is that the board wants me to do, but this is not a new building. This is exactly the building that the village board and the trustees
Did
approved.
it exist a year ago?
Pardon me?
Did it exist a year ago?
Building did not
And it's a
exist.
new building.
The building itself is new, but the site plan, the site plan that was approved in 2016 had this building on it.
Had details.
Had whatever detail was needed to approve the future construction of phase two of the overall plan.
And parking and all the other stuff, and now it's changing.
But it's changing because we're turning grass into parking lots. Right, well, I'll
Landscape
get you what
area,
you
the
need.
expansion of the parking.
You just do it as a real site plan, Jim,
Okay.
because this is a drawing, but it's not a real site plan.
And address the comments that I sent you the last.
Okay. Could you remind me what those were, so I make sure that I
Well,
actually.
one talked about the sidewalk repairs, that driveway that in front of the building that was formerly for the bowling alley, that has to be taken out.
I don't believe I actually received those, so if you could send them to me again, I'd be happy to address them.
And I also commented on the lighting, and what you needed to do for the lighting, sidewalks, to show where the sidewalks are going.
Okay.
Building and
Well,
access.
this is all new information to me, so I clearly did not get it. Because I would have responded to it had I had it.
You haven't answered my question about the drainage pool that I think is too close to your sanitary.
Okay, I believe that your comment was that would have to wait till the actual
Have to,
site.
and you show on the site plan to be excavated or what you're doing, put a note on so we can enforce that.
Okay.
There's some legacy things from the 2016, like closing up the old curb cut on Sunset, but I think it would be most beneficial if there was one plan that showed this is what we're gonna have here.
I'm happy to do it.
Show us the area of the parking lot you're excavating also. You're gonna have to, in order to put the sanitary system in, you're gonna have to open the park. Show us
The sanitary has been approved and that plan has been submitted, so I
you're
will.
removing the open parking to get to, so the details of that, sign, thickness of the asphalt, the typical site plan. Okay. There's additional landscaping that we don't want.
Not, it's been requested, but if that's something that of interest, I don't think that was part of the original site plan either, which was approved in that manner, so.
We knew there was gonna be a building excavated there, you don't put in foundation plantings for a building that doesn't exist.
Well, I got it.
yeah, we need a site plan.
Okay, I'll get that, and then I will provide it 10 days before another meeting and come and talk about it. I'm happy to provide all of this stuff, and, you know, we've been here a couple of times now, and I never got the memo that Ron sent, so I couldn't respond to that. And
We're ready.
if somebody,
I'm sure you'll satisfy all the requirements that are.
absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you very much, Jim. We appreciate.
Thank you.
your cooperation as always.
And we'll see you hopefully soon.
I look forward to Okay, 55 Old Riverhead Road LLC, 55 and 59 Riverhead Road. Good to see you.
Good evening, board members. Heather Wright for the applicant, 48H Main Street, West Hampton Beach. So we're back here today. We submitted a revised site plan, I think addressing some of the comments that were brought up by the board. Thanks for your memo. That was really helpful. I think that we can address pretty much everything that you have on there as minor tweaks to the final to the site plan. The one thing we did want to talk about was you kind of mentioned additional amenities. I think our feeling is that a walking trail around the premises might not work only because with windows and privacy, it's a tight spot to begin with. So like having a walking path around the premises may not work. It's a tight area, so we're open to other ideas. If there's something else that we could do, we'd certainly be willing to do it if we thought additional amenities would be helpful.
I think Britain's effort was to reduce your park fee.
No, and I appreciate
I
that.
mean, even just by the pickleball court, I mean, I made a couple suggestions, bocce, or
We could do something like that.
We could definitely fit another court over there. If they don't want to, they don't want to.
No, I think we can come up with
It just would be a nicer.
You can pay him now, you can pay him later.
But the other comments seemed, made sense, so we can.
I haven't looked at it since, I don't think it's changed much. The only thing I look at, again, the lighting plan, make sure, and that, again, I have to make sure it matches up with those tables and the,
Yeah, I don't think the table was on the lighting plan. That might be
No, it
helpful.
this a series of tables in the code. And, they're minimum and maximum, they gotta fit within. And they gotta have evidence of that, at least it's close, because I don't think it's possible to. Yeah. So,
So you're gonna issue a memo, Ron? After you've looked at that lighting plan?
yeah, I'll look,
Okay.
if I've seen the emails, but I suspect since I was satisfied with it last.
I don't think we have the septic plan.
Yeah, I don't think that you do either, and so I have to get that from the engineer, and I can have them submit whatever's been submitted to the health department. We have conditional approval, and we just have to wait. We just have to finish up with some covenants, and I think there's one other thing, a line of credit, but we're close.
Are we still tying into the original? So I have a question for attorney and the board. We've different now than it was then, but then we opened this as a public hearing. It was always noticed as a senior community. I think the last time we talked about this in June or July, it had since changed, I believe, to just general, a market rate, no senior, which changes their flow, but also should that be re-noticed or change anything in the board?
Well, the Timber Ridge community has always been very vocal about anything going on in that neighborhood.
And we're not, I don't mean to jump in, but we're not increasing the number of units here, and we are making upgrades to their sewage treatment plan, which was part of sort of getting the buy-in for
Well,
it.
they shouldn't really have any objections, but I do think they deserve a notice perhaps. Since you are changing the formula in as much as the volume is going to change, as an example, and the usage is going to change. There could very likely, in lieu of it not being a senior community, be children involved. So that may be something that they would like some input on.
I hear you, but when we were here at the last meeting, it was a public hearing, and we did put it on the record that it was no longer a 55 and older community. So I believe the public, and there were some members of the public from Timber Ridge here at that time. So I do believe they have noticed, but obviously I'll do whatever the board would like us to do.
Anthony, you got any input on this?
It's still a multifamily that really hasn't changed. I don't know that the designation of who's gonna live there, we don't have a separate class, do we,
We
though?
don't look, sanitary is lower through health department,
I understand.
understanding that they don't think it's a full family gonna be living there, which means less cars. They could, you're right, you have less cars.
But that's the health department's, and if they end up going through that process and they're satisfied, I'm not sure what it has to do with us, like, personally, but.
The only argument, again, it's completely up to the board, I'm not trying to sway the board one way or the other, is there is a perceived lesser impact from a senior community than a general use community. That's all.
It generates less traffic. This, instead of posting just a letter to the, board member that's in charge over there at this time, would you be amenable to that?
For a new hearing, we have to have another hearing, right?
Oh, we're not anywhere close to
Why don't we
having
get-
a final approval, so I guess it's,
We just renotice it.
we still have a few steps to go.
Next hearing, and say what it is.
It wouldn't really add to the timeline.
No, it doesn't change anything.
I mean, some big ticket things we gotta deal with the park fee, right? So,
We also, I think we, that's SWIP was submitted, so there's an application that goes along, we have to.
Well, my statement was trying to keep you moving, but apparently I've got no control over that. So I guess the board.
it's either notice it or don't notice it, renotice it, that's your call.
Michael, you notice? It can only be peril for us if we don't.
Exactly.
So I guess so.
How are you?
Yeah,
I think we're all pretty much of the same mind that renoticing it would be to all of our benefits.
Okay, so renoticing it with the copy of the application that was submitted and plan, like what?
We're just gonna put it in the paper.
Just in
I'm saying,
paper then.
saying it.
We're just gonna put it in the paper.
Okay, that's fine.
Better safe than sorry.
Just in case someone wants to come in and speak.
But we have to decide,
You put it in the paper on October for,
Well, I'd like to.
I think we need to stay in touch with Heather and find
Right,
out
we
when
have to
she's gonna make a
decide.
resubmittal, and then we'll time it
Right.
appropriately.
You come back.
okay, so can I get a little guidance from the board and for my client's benefit about sort of like the next steps as we get closer to getting our health department approval? I know we have to go to the trustees.
The ARB, have you been to the ARB?
No, not yet.
Maybe worth getting to the ARB.
Last time we suggested ARB and trustees, but I think the board felt that we weren't quite there yet with our plan and our design. I think we're a lot further along now with that, so.
Think you got it.
Yeah, I don't think the addition of minor recreational issues and dealing with the lighting, I don't think there's anything that would prevent
I don't think,
going to the trustees and the ARB.
yeah. So
We don't have a comment on the design other than adding maybe a Vilco door.
Trustees, we do a mini resolution. I don't think the ARB's different.
Mini resolution for what?
To get the special exception, we do a resolution.
Oh, cause it's the multifamily, so it's backwards and we have to do, right?
But the ARB, there's nothing, I mean, that should be done.
So we could do that. I mean, that could be the next step.
And we can coincide coming back from the ARB with the public notice. We can go from there. We'll have to give the board a chance to digest the latest plans and we'll have comments and be able to do something at that.
So what's the roadmap?
Roadmap is, remember when we did this for Rogers and for the patio, the latest patio? A sort of conditional approval, which doesn't have all of the details that go in the final approval, but it's enough to satisfy the code provision that requires an approval from this board before it goes back to the trustees for the special permit that they need.
Is it a no objection or is it a?
No, it's a little more than that.
It's like a Cliff Notes resolution.
It doesn't have the conditions, all
Okay.
I said, like, for him, the bells and whistles that we were talking about earlier with all the specific conditions that have to be met, but
Can we
it
do it
has,
verbally now or do they have to come back for another meeting on that resolution in particular?
if you feel we're ready, which I think all your consultants feel we're ready, then we can just put it on for the next meeting for that.
Okay.
And wouldn't necessarily have to come back for it.
And we have done, subject to trustees and ARB, you kind of send it to both places at the same time.
Right.
They're still under original notice, right? This is not really technically a work session because they're still under their initial public notice. So I think we satisfy that?
About the new procedure.
We're bumbling, I can't hear you. Maybe that's on purpose.
Rick knows about the new procedure. I wondered if
She wrote it. So Brittany. Paul,
I think the board should make a motion to refer this to the ARB and make a motion for staff and legal to draft a conditional, what do we call it before?
It's a conditional site plan.
You know, when we did it for patio or WH equity, we made a recommendation of the unit count. And we said, we're okay with the plan, this is the unit count we recommended, and they started trouble with that, it's that same mechanism. But we're gonna basically say conditionally, we're okay with this plan, they're working out some details, and you can now review it for special exception.
right, first we need a resolution to advance this to the ARB.
Make the resolution.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, so you're going to the ARB. Now we're going to hold this over anticipation of a conditional resolution at the next meeting.
Make a motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Do we have to do, Anthony, the park view and that stuff or not?
No, that comes later.
Okay.
And I think we could do the renoticing part when they come back, right? Because then we'll have that opportunity to do
Trustees
it.
have to have a public hearing, and then it will not say senior housing either.
Okay. So we are coming back then the next meeting because it is being renoticed.
Conditional
No,
resolution.
You don't have to come, we're just.
You don't have to,
You're noticing it? We're not.
no, we're not. We just said we're not going to. The trustees will. When you go to the trustees, they'll notice it for public hearing, and then when you come back here, we can take care of the renoticing at that point.
Ideally, come back here with your trustees, your ARB, the revisions on the plan, your health department, give us one big package and.
And the following meeting. And the meeting after that meeting.
We're gonna close the public hearing tonight, we're doing it that next meeting.
Makes no difference to me.
In the new method, we just wanna get in the habit of opening public hearings and closing public hearings, but we can wait till next.
I'd say we wait until we close the meeting after we give the conditional resolution.
Be part of it, like we'll build it into the decision.
So you don't have to come, notice that we'll take good care of you.
All right. Fair enough.
You can come if you want to.
Bring all your friends.
Select the company.
Good?
Yep.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, looks like a nice plan.
Yeah.
So we have a fill application, 13 Meadow. It's not bad on.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll introduce them. But I just wanted to show everyone this.
It's water polo?
Exactly. So, Stu Wilsensky from Spaces Landscape Architecture, CROG, for the applicant for the owner Nipper. This is a renewal. We did get approval to do drainage in the backyard, but if everyone remembers about in August when we had a week of 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and even 4 inch rain, so there was like 8 inches of rain in 1 week. That picture shows you what happened to their backyard. So their backyard is low, and the only way to do something like this is to raise the grade and then go a little deeper with the drainage leaching fields. So on the first application that was approved, I designed it for a standard 2 inch rainfall. This one, I am over designing this quite a bit, and I
hope that's okay with everybody. I don't think you'll have a problem. It's just that if everyone sees the same pattern going on, with the rain, at times. So I just want to make sure when they do this, that they do this correctly and that we have enough, volume and capacity for the amount of water in these rain events. So, what I have to do here is, actually raise their tennis court. Now, they have a very old tennis court, it's clay, there's no drainage in it. So, I'm going to, put in a synthetic tennis court, which will also help in drainage, but I'm gonna raise that to the highest level that I can, which is 10 inches there. And that in combination with the larger leaching field, which will be covered by lawn.
Is that the
you won't see
leaching
it.
field that's flooded over to the
Yes,
left?
yes.
No.
So, so I have to take care of all that and, I'll just, I'll collect the water and store it underground and let it leach down slowly. But there won't be anything on the surface.
Do you have a lot of removal to do?
I will strip it and of course take all the topsoil and save it. I'm there, I've done actually next door and improved that with the drainage. So I'm aware that there is some bog in there. So yes, I will remove the bog and then bring in fill and then bring in oversized clean, it's actually OCA gravel, there's no fines. And, and raise it up as much as I can, but I'm going out and I'm going up a little bit to make as large of a volume area as I can to collect. But you will not see any of it because it's all underground.
So with dry well, dry wells capable of taking this kind of water?
This is better than dry wells, it will take a lot more water. And what I have done here is, I've actually have a bunch of drain inlets that are piped together, so the water will be spread out wider and go down instead of, just in one dry well. So, it's just more volume this way.
Larry, the problem is the dry well would be almost full of water before the rain started. Now, if you were 5 feet high at dry wells, it'd be fine, but it doesn't work like this.
Well, Ron, and this is really your work, not ours. I mean, I don't think the board has any objection here.
It had expired because they didn't do it last year,
But they called me so quick when this happened, they're like, we're now doing it,
so we figure we can kind of roll a renewal with an amendment to that. And I think it works, Sue always takes care of these sites.
Yeah, I love drainage, I gotta take care of drainage, I love drainage. Love it.
Well, at least it was an older tennis court instead of a
Yeah,
brand
I
new.
can get the cat out of there and put something new in, so, yeah, I'm excited. And I haven't done a synthetic tennis court yet, so,
That's exciting. I like that idea too.
it'll look nicer, green instead of clay, I think.
So how do we proceed with this?
We could probably close it off a resolution. We already have it tipped up from the previous, we just have to change it to new dates. Plan, swap out the old plan, but there are covenants and restrictions. I don't know if they filed that in the previous one, but
We actually did, yeah, so we'll have to refile, I guess.
we might have to make those changes again.
Right, so nobody has any objection in the motion to hold over in anticipation of a renewal of the existing contract. All in favor? Aye. Yes, thanks. It's a pleasure to see you.
Nice to see you.
Make a motion to close. All in favor? Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, can we do them without a full board? Yeah, we can, let's do the minutes. From September 14th, everybody was here, we can distribute them.
Making a motion to accept the minutes of October 12th. Make the motion. Second. All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to adjourn.
Have a motion,
Make a motion. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
thank you.